1996 Bulls, they're considered the best NBA team of all time, but a lot has changed since that era. Players have gotten bigger, stronger, faster, and more skilled than ever before. So here's a debate that I know you are going to get fired up about. Steph Curry, take it away.
I gotta ask, fully healthy, do you believe the Warriors with KD could have beat the 96 Bulls in a 7-game finals? Absolutely. Obviously, we will never know, but you put us on paper with them, I like our chances. I'd say dubs in 6, too.
Oh, okay. Now, let's break down their 5 best players for the Bulls team. We had Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, and Dennis Rodman. In the championship Warriors squad, we had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green. Okay, both stacked teams, but ooh, these are some very bold statements being made. So, Jay, Will, I pose this question to you. Do you believe the 2017 Warriors could beat the 1996 Bulls?
Yeah. I think that the 2016-2017 Golden State Warriors is the best basketball team ever assembled. Now, I have some things for you just to kind of break it down, guys, because, you know, they won 67 games. Now, Kevin Durant missed 20 games that season. 20 games that season, and this team won 67 games. So I think there's a delineation between, hey, GOAT season, because I have to give that to the Bulls because they won 6 or 7 more games, right, as opposed to GOAT team. But when I think about the makeup that this team has had, even if you say Kevin Durant and Michael Jordan, you know, nix each other, all right? Tony Kukoc, I'll take Andre Iguodala against him all day long. I'll take Draymond Green going against the likes of Dennis Rodman. I'll take Klay Thompson going against the likes of Scottie Pippen. And then the question is, who's going to guard Stephen Curry? The talent that was on the floor for this Golden State team is 2 of the best shooters we've ever seen to play the game of basketball. Combined with one of the most efficient, if not the most efficient scorer, who's a 7-footer in the game of basketball, with a defensive prowl like Andre Iguodala, and then a guy like Draymond Green, who is defensively aware and the basketball IQ is off the charts, and the continuity and the style in which they play. I think Golden State would win this series in 6, guys. I truly do. I don't think the game of basketball has ever seen the offensive firepower and the style in which they play and how they can space out the floor and the three-point shot. They've never seen a game like a style of game like this before in the history of basketball.
That's a fact.
They haven't.
Monica, what do you think?
That was good, Jay. That was good. And I think when I start to do these hypotheticals as the daughter of an official, I immediately go to the style in which the game was played and the way it was officiated. And so, yes, Jay, and I really enjoyed that because, like, this is fun. This is a fun, real rabbit hole to go down. I just don't think that the way the 2017 Warriors were able to move so freely is a thing with this 96 Bull squad. I think defensively, it's a little more challenging than just those one-on-one matchups. And so I'm still, and maybe, again, call me a purist, I'm still going with Jordan and company. I just think that the physicality and the nature of the game, it would not have been as free-moving in terms of what made the Warriors so very successful. So I'm still going with the Bulls on this one.
Monica, all I'm going to say to you about this is I get the physicality of the game. Both you and I played the game. So what I do is play the game. If I want to come down the lane, you want to chop off my head, fine, bring it. Let's not act like players in today's game couldn't adapt to the physicality of the game and what it was in the 90s, first off. Secondly, to combat the physicality, fine. Chase me around.
Yeah,
Chase my ass around.
Yeah, I got
the
you.
whole game, Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, because all we're running is continuity all the time. When you think about they run over 10 miles per game with the way they move. That style of basketball didn't exist back in the 90s. It was way more isolated. And I don't think the Bulls can ever really adjust to that defensively as it relates to having the bandwidth or the conditioning to handle that.
You know,
I hear you. Go ahead, Swagger. Come on.
Yeah. I'm on the side with Jay. I thought I was going to have to battle both of y'all with this with this argument with the Chicago Bulls. Listen, and granted, like when Jordan is in the conversation, it's hard to say anybody would have won. I mean, he won 6 championships in that era. But you brought up a great point, Monica, because I was going to ask both of y'all the question, what era are we talking about? Because the eras to me are not as significant. And I understand hand checking, I understand bumps, I understand how physical it is. But I just don't subscribe. Jay, relax. I'm with you. I don't subscribe to this fact that these superstars that we watching now wouldn't be superstars because you could defend them harder. I just will not subscribe to that.
The game's different, though.
I've heard this argument.
But Swagoo.
But, Mon, you know basketball as well as anybody. You know basketball as well as anybody. Movement makes you a great team in basketball. That's what it does. You either got a superstar, you either run a great pick and roll, or you create movement. That's how you become really good basketball teams. What we watched the Golden State Warriors do before Kevin Durant was one of the best offenses we had ever seen in the NBA. So now you want to go to a one-man game. You want to go to a two-man game. You want to spread the floor. You want to create a two-man game on one side of the floor.
Go ahead,
you got Jordan and Pippen who can hoop and can create a two-man game. But I'm gonna take Steph Curry and Kevin Durant in a two-man game on one side of the floor before I take pretty much anybody outside of if you put LeBron and Kobe together, that's totally different. But you telling me I could have the greatest shooter and the greatest scorer run a two-man game against any team in the NBA, and that wouldn't be as effective based on errors? I just don't subscribe to that. That's why I'm with Jay, because the one common denominator that has never changed since the beginning of time in basketball, when I was watching Jay at Duke, when I was watching you at Georgetown, if you can shoot the damn basketball, you got a chance to win games. And this team has shot it better than anybody we've ever, think about this, Mon, ever seen. They have shot the basketball consistently better than anyone we've ever seen in the NBA. We all agree they got the greatest shooter to ever play in the NBA. We all agree. And I remember 3 years ago that we had Clay in the conversation as one of the better two-way players we had seen in the NBA. So let's not disregard defense either, because Andre Iguodala was locked down at certain points in his career. That's how we talked about him, minus not even really giving him credit for his offensive prowess. I'm going to take a seat. I'm going to let my basketball aficionados talk about the hoop game. But I 100% agree about this Golden State take with you, Jay, because errors don't matter when you got guys that can pull up from the timeline and consistently knock it down.
All I'm going to ask you, Monica, really quickly is, are today's players in the WNBA better than players were 20 years ago?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, when everybody says today's players are the most skilled players in the history of the game,
they are
better than what players were 20 years ago.
Okay,
Combined three Hall of Fame.
That's enough. That's enough. That's
so 20 years from now, we're going to see better players than today, too.
Okay.
Potentially, yes. If the game keeps moving in that direction, yes.
Okay, well,
listen,
then I guess
I love the rabbit hole. Go, Charlie.
No, I was going to say, I guess the conclusion of this conversation is Jay, you're going to need to be fanning off those 1996 Bulls because there's no way they would be able to keep up with the Warriors.
Death to me and Jay mentions.
God
bless y'all. I care less.
Thank you, Pastor Swagger.
Amazing, guys.
Please pass your money in this collection.
This was a good one. Okay.